Here we go. Welcome to Real Estate Investing Live with Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP, Mr. Talk to People. What an exciting day. What an exciting show we have today. This is a show all about opening up your mindset and giving you the pure instruction so that you can succeed as a real estate entrepreneur. Now, today's topic I'm really excited about because it is all about where are the best deals, what zip codes, what areas, what counties, what states, all of those things we're going to go through today. And I want to open this up to a lot of participation, all right? Because this show is made by you. This show is for you. I want you to participate. I want you to feel like you're a part of it. So make sure that if you have questions, to put them in the comments section. That is both for the live show here on YouTube and on Instagram. Also, if you want to comp a property, take a look at it, break it down a little bit. We love doing that on this show. But before we get into what are the best areas, we got to touch a little bit about this thing, right? A little bit about the mindset. And I want to touch on potential, right? Potential. I've been asked the question 1,000 times. What is your why? What is your why? Why do you do this? Why'd you get into real estate? What is your why behind being an entrepreneur and wanting to be successful and all those things? And of course, everybody's standard answer is family, everything. You know, people's answer are, I want to be able to provide opportunities for the people that I love. And I get all that. But listen, we all have that. Everybody, that's the same across the board. So I dug a little bit deeper, just mentally. And what I came to was fulfillment of potential, right? Fulfillment of potential. Everybody on here watching this, everybody here that is interested and is every single day taking action in their real estate business has this incredibly beautiful brain that is different from other people. Right? We're just different. We're just built different. We don't want to have an average life. We want to have an extraordinary life. And that all comes with the fulfillment of potential. But this reminds me, I think that the beautiful analogy of this, and I love this, is have you ever seen a giant, 10-ton elephant, and it's tied to a stake with just a rope, right? It's tied to, literally this thing, all this elephant has to do is literally just move its leg just a little bit. It'll rip out that post, and all of a sudden it's off and running. But it stays there. It is trained to stay in its place. Do you know how this happens? This happens because of its environment. This happens because the people that surround this elephant, when it was a baby, tied it up with chains to a stake so it couldn't move. And then as it got older and older, they started removing the chains, and they just put a simple, cheap rope that hold them all down, hold all that potential back, right? It's the environment. It's the people that you are around. It's the things that you've grown up with. Sometimes it's yourself. Sometimes the mistakes that you've done, the failures that you've had in the past are the stake and that rope that are holding you back. If you look at this, and I love this, if you look at this, this is the potential, right? This is the potential that we're working with. You know what this whole part is? This whole part is self-limiting beliefs. That's what this is. That's what that is. That is what that rope is. That's what that stake and that rope and you've got a little bit, right? You got a little bit of movement. You've got a little bit, you're working off of the potential that you know that you have, right? But in the end, you are still tied to that stake. You're still tied to that self-limiting beliefs, right? That's why I wanted to completely destroy this. The way that we destroy it is a couple different things. Number one, surrounding yourself with incredible, positive, proactive people that are taking action every single day. We talk about squatting up all the time, squatting up, being around the people. And if you're around people that are just destroying and adding to your self-limiting beliefs and destroying your potential, destroying that confidence, that courage that you have, you need to replace them, right? You need to replace them with people that are positive and doing things and that are excited and that have the same brain that you have, right? The same thoughts and goals that you have. That's who you need to surround yourself with. And it starts today. You can start going out and bringing all these people in. Start pouring really good things into your brain through listening to audio, through YouTube, through podcasts. All of these things start destroying that self-limiting beliefs. Because I could show you absolutely every single step to be successful as a real estate entrepreneur. But if you have those self-limiting beliefs that hold you back, trust me, I was there. When I lost everything, oh my gosh, I felt like the stake around me was like a mile deep and I just couldn't get away from it. And I just had to surround myself with the right people, and take a bunch of action. So remember the potential. You have so much. Don't let the self-limiting beliefs hold you back. You got this. All right. Now, let's jump into it. Let's talk about the best areas to wholesale, the best, like really look at it and determine where are the cash buyers buying most of these properties. And I can go through and really break this down. I'll leave it up to you guys, but let's start with this. These are some guidelines that I want you to use when you are picking out an area. All right, right here. Number one, the older parts of town. Listen, the biggest, best deals are the properties that are in rough shape. People don't have the capital to be able to invest into their properties to get the most out of them, right? So these properties fall into disrepair. These properties fall into, become vacant. These properties become beat up by tenants, or the owners of the property just can't take care of them anymore. And usually it's the older properties. The older property gets, the more out of fashion they get, or the more that their appliances and some of the inner workings of the property, the mechanical parts of the property start breaking down. That's the properties that we want to go after. All right. Next, affordable housing. This is critical. All right. I want you starting out focusing on if this property was fixed up, could a first-time home buyer buy it? Right? Because that's the biggest pool of buyers. Next is like, what is the median sales price in your area? You just literally Google it. Google median sales price in my area, right? And that's going to show you that sweet spot that most people are buying those properties in. And that's the properties that I want you to go after. Those are the neighborhoods that I want you to go after, because not only is that the biggest pool of end buyers for those properties, but that's where your cash buyers really want to purchase. All right, we got to find it. We got to look at where are our customers, where are our cash buyers looking to purchase. Next is look at the recent cash buyer activity. All right, and we're going to break this down. I'm going to show you two tools that you can use. One is through PropStream, and the second one is absolutely free, and it's a list source hack, and I'm going to go through that step by step to show you exactly how you can pull those cash buyers and see which zip codes are the hottest. All right, but the area that you pick has to meet this criteria. It has to be older properties, okay? It's got to be affordable housing, and it's got to be recent cash buyer activity. Where are your customers at? All right, Mike?
Hey, so Brent, so real quick, so older parts of town, 30 years or older, is that why when you pull lists on like PropStream, you go year built of the property, 1990 or, before then?
Yes.
Gotcha.
That's exactly it.
And then when you look at the, buying properties that are affordable, you're talking about the after repair value is something that a first-time home buyer could get into, the median priced home.
Yep.
That's not where they would buy it. They're looking just for areas where that's the
exactly
the after. Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
Cool. Thanks.
Yep. You're looking once it's totally renovated to be in that median. So you're going to want to be making offers depending on the area that you're at 50% or 66% of that median price or whatever the after repair value is for that property.
So like in Phoenix, you're looking in neighborhoods where the after repair value is what, for example?
$377,000 is the median sales price. That is the sweet spot, Mike. So we're locking these properties up at $200,000 to $250,000 and making an absolute fortune on them because we're getting really good deals in the areas that people want to buy. Yep. And here you go. Here's the second slide that I'm going to go through here. Who to target. All right. This is wholesaling 101, right? We got to go after the distressed property. So not only are you going after the neighborhoods that are 30 years or older, not only are you going at the price range that are median, but you got to go after the properties that there are signs of distress. And remember, national statistics show 6 to 10% of the real estate market is in some sort of distress. That is where we live. That is our sweet spot. It's not the sweet spot for Open Door. It's not the sweet spot for OfferPad. It's not the sweet spot for Zillow offers. They want to get in and make it quick and make it easy. This is the sweet spot for professional flippers that are looking for opportunities every single day in every single market. All right. The second part is they got to want to sell them. They got to want to sell. There's nothing that we're going to do and say to convince somebody to sell their property at a discount. They have to want to do it. They have to be in alignment with the price, the terms, and with you, right? But they have to want to sign a piece of paper that says that we are able to purchase that property. They signed the purchase agreement, right? They have to want to do that. And that's so critical because I think a lot of the slippage that we see, a lot of the heartbreak that we see in this business is we're going after people that we think need to sell, but they don't want to. Right? It all comes down to what is their timeline. That's why the timeline on them making a decision is absolutely critical. So they have to want to sell the property and they have to have at least 30% equity. Okay, listen, wholesale deals, traditional, clean wholesale deals come down to two things: equity and motivation. They got to have them both. Equity and motivation. And the equity has to be a minimum of 30% in that property so that you're able to really get in there and get a good discount and be able to have enough room in there to make your fee and to make the profits for it. And there's got to be enough meat on the bone for your end buyer. All right. And the prospects have to meet all this criteria. Now, let's get into something that's a little bit... I don't know if it's controversial, but I think that it's real, and it's something that I think that you need to put a lot of consideration into. Not yet, Matt. I'm going to go on the board. I'm going to go here. All right. And I think that this is really important. Right here. Oop. Right here. Here is the average earnings that that are typical when you wholesale property in the different price range. Now, if it's between $0, where, if it's under $100,000, I'm telling you, the typical assignment fee for this, the typical net income is gross income is $5,000 to $8,000. Okay, 101 to 200,000 is 10 to 15. 200, you get it, 15 to 20, and it starts jumping and jumping and jumping. Look at this. Take this seriously. Because when I suggest to you that I would not go into any market where the ARV is less than 150,000, the reason I say that is because you look at the difference between what you make here. Okay, this is how you start really making some momentum here when you start bumping up into a different price range, a different ARV for these properties. All right. Oh, geez, I just erased it. But look, I mean, seriously, this is the difference. Now, you can see, obviously, getting into the sweet spot here in Phoenix where we go, and we go after properties that ARV at 377, you can understand why we average 42,000. Actually, it's $39,000 a deal. We did a couple $20,000, but $39,000 a deal here in Phoenix is because we go after these price ranges. Now, a lot of areas around the country are kind of stuck in this, right? And that's okay, but just understand this. If you're going to go after those properties that are $20,000, $30,000, $50,000, $70,000, you can expect that your average fee is going to be between $5,000 and $8,000. Now, listen, there's always exceptions. There's always smoking hot deals where you walk into it and you're talking to this property owner and they're like, hey, you give me $15,000 for this and it's yours, and you sell that thing for $55,000 and it's a phenomenal deal. I get it. But for the most part, the average is this. So this is something that you need to consider, because as you're putting together your business plan, as you're putting together your goals, your financial goals for the year, you have to figure out how many leads in this box do I have to get to equal this? How many deals do I have to get in this price range to equal this? That's a big factor. It is a huge, huge factor. I highly suggest coaching here. I'm coaching you up here, 150 and above for the ARV. You're going to be in that sweet spot. You're going to be getting those checks for $10,000 to $15,000, and it goes a lot further than getting a check for $5,000 to $8,000. All right, Mike, does that make sense?
Yeah, and I got a couple quick questions. So what I just heard is like if you're in a big market like Phoenix,
Yeah.
avoid areas where the after repair value, of nice homes that are selling is less than $150,000, right?
Yep.
And then the next thing is if you're in one of these smaller markets where that's all of the housing, would you recommend people just stay there, or might that be a reason to do some virtual wholesaling?
It could be. I think that you should, if you're starting out, you start out in your backyard. I think that it is. I think most markets have areas that are 150 and above. They just do. Just coaching thousands of people around the country. People are finding those pockets, those areas, those little, going a little bit further if they have to. If it's not super rural, then they're able to find those pockets that are 150 and above in 2021.
So then just going back to the beginning, whether you're driving for dollars, whether you're pulling lists, first you want to focus on older parts of town where you're at a good medium price point for the after repair value, right? And then from there you filter down into the person, right? You're looking for motivation and that kind of thing, right?
Yep.
Equity is something, I saw you put 30%. Is that also why when you're pulling lists, you put in that equity threshold?
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Yep, exactly. And for the most part, Mike, the reason I want people to put in when they're pulling their lists 7 years of ownership minimum. One, because most people own properties for 7 years. That's the average. But two, if they bought it 7 years ago, they probably have a good amount of equity, right? Especially if they put 10 to 20% down, like most real estate investors have to do. Most of the deals that we get are from tired landlords. They truly are. So most tired landlords already put 10 to 20%. Most of the time, if they bought it 7 years ago, it was 20%, and now the market's gone up and up and up and up and going bananas. We've got a good amount of equity in there. So sometimes when I'm filtering lists, I don't put in the equity percentage because I don't trust the algorithm and I don't want to miss out. Sometimes I just put that they bought it at least 7 years ago. Original purchase date, and you can filter that out in there. All right. Now I want to show you this because this is another factor that is important. It is the difference between judicial and non-judicial states. Take a look at this map. You can get me off of there, Matt. Take a look at this map here. All right. This is, and everybody on Instagram, just pull up judicial versus non-judicial foreclosure map. And so you're looking at this, the judicial states, it costs a lot more money and a lot more time for a lender to foreclose on a property in a judicial state. It has to go through the whole judicial process. All right. And now as foreclosures are loosening up, the reason I bring this up is private money lenders that participate in most wholesale deals. Most people buying these wholesale deals aren't coming in with all their cash. They're getting private money from hard money lenders, private money lenders. It's a lot harder for them to foreclose and it costs them a lot more. So there's typically more fees and points involved in these areas than others. Now, listen, there's some areas like Florida where it's, it's super competitive with the private money. So they kind of start cutting down the cost and the fees going on. In New Jersey, it's similar. The cost and the fees are coming down. But some of these other areas, you have to get more discounted properties. You got to get the properties probably about $5,000 less than you would in the non-judicial states, just because the cash buyers are taking into account the points and the fees that it costs them to purchase that property. All right, guys, I'm rapid firing all this so that we have the next hour and a half to break it all down. So any questions that you have, put in the comments section. We'll deep dive this, just like Mike's picking it apart here. We're going to pick this all apart and figure it out. All right. Now, I want to get on my computer here. If you could switch over, Matt, real quick to the computer here. I'm going to show you in PropStream something really cool. And I'm sure you guys probably are familiar if you're using PropStream. If not, ttpdata.com. That's where you get PropStream, ttpdata.com. But check this out. All right. This is right here. This is the analytics. And I really like this. So you've got estimated value, you got price growth, you got MLS stats, you got rental values. Well, estimated values, you click it here, right? And go here. And it's going to start pulling up. Give my computer a little bit of time to get in there. Maybe I need to, what happened? Estimated values. Maybe I got to zoom in a little bit. Usually I don't. Come on, internet. Let's see if price growth will work for us here. Let's go to 6-month price growth. Give it a second to load up here. I'm not sure what exactly is going on with PropStream, but typically it's going to give you this is a terrible example. This is anyway, refresh what? Yeah, exactly. Okay. Let's try this again. Let's get in there. Oh, I got kicked out. My team's using it. Sorry, guys. Here you go. Okay. So you're looking at these analytics, and we're just here in my market, and you go to estimated value, and nothing happens again. There we go. Look at this. So here's what we're looking at, right? So this is just the estimated value of the areas here in Phoenix. Now, God, this thing is not, okay. If you look at this market. I mean, you could see, where are people buying properties? Well, they're buying it in the areas that are hot. You just literally just go over here and you just pick out an area. You zoom in on it. You pick out an area and you figure out what is the zip code here, right? What is this area? Why is it so hot? Why is it going absolutely bananas versus some of these other places? And you can start targeting those zip codes, all right? You can't overlay zip codes. But see how it's got a zip code here? See how you can just click on it and find these zip codes that are hot? That's where you go after. I want you to go after the hot areas. And the funny thing is, I did this yesterday. Let's see if the internet will keep up with it. I did the whole country, and it's like absolutely crazy. Anyway. Internet. Anyway, get us off here. You can zoom in, and what I like looking at that analytics there is the estimated values and the price growth, and you can get, what's that? Oh, there you go. You can kind of see it. It's kind of popping up. You can kind of see it now. You can see the areas that are hot. You can see the areas where the price, where the estimated values of these properties are, right? This goes back to looking at those price ranges that are going to get us the most per wholesale deal, being between that 150 and above. All right. And so this map is fantastic for that. Let's look at the price growth. Let's see if that'll pop up here over the last 6 months. We'll give it a second to look at that. But listen, go after. It's very easy. If you have PropStream, you can go right in and look at this. Look at this price growth for our country right now. And it's kind of taking its time. But look at that. Everywhere is on fire. Everybody's like, well, I don't know if I want to, wholesale in my backyard. I don't know if it's a popular area. I don't know how hot the market is. The whole country is on fire. All right? Everywhere. Everywhere is good. People are buying everywhere. So don't let that stop you and put you into a little bubble of non-action because you live in a smaller city. We do fantastic deals in Flagstaff, Arizona that has 80,000 people. We go bananas in Phoenix that has over 5 million people. All right? So you can do deals anywhere. It's just focusing and making sure that you're going after the distressed properties. You're going after properties that are over 150,000 preferably. You're going after properties that have 30% equity, and you are being consistent going after all of those properties. Now, my team tells me not to go over 20 minutes. I'm like 24 minutes. So we're going to open this up to comments. If you want me to break down and show you the hottest zip codes in each area, or at least how to pull them from ListSource for free, let me know. We'll do that. But I want to open it up to some comments so that we can get this thing pretty interactive. All right? So let's open it up there. Do median price points mean ARV most likely? Yes. It just depends. That's where you want to stay. Like each property you need to comp out, Michael. Each property you want to go and do the research and figure out how much repairs the property needs, what it'll sell for in that neighborhood, because an appraiser when an end buyer picks up that property and is looking to purchase it, most of the time they get a loan. And so they need an appraiser to get the loan. And the appraiser is going to look first right in that neighborhood and then within a bubble of about a mile and try to not cross any major roads. So they're looking for properties that are similar to the subject property that they are appraising. Good question. Okay, Java. Hi, Brent. How do you comp vacant lots? That's fantastic. So, let's do this on the board. Let's switch this up. Are we good here, Matt?
We'll be in a second.
Okay. We're gonna do this on the board here because this question comes up a lot, and so let's just go with it. So land. Okay. What you typically want to do, Java, is you want to look for properties that are in a subdivision. Okay, you want properties in town. Now, if you're going rural, you can just give a percentage of the assessor value. Typically, I would throw out 10% of the assessor value to see what their bottom line is. And so the tax assessor value, it's on PropStream right there. It's pretty much anywhere. You could look at your tax or your treasurer's office or whoever does the property taxes in your area. Just look at what the assessed value is for the land. Give them 10% of that. Start there and see what price they really want. If it's rural, if it's in town, let's say that if you built a house, what you want to look for is you want to look for comps in the area that are flipped, that look beautiful, that is the highlight of the neighborhood. So let's say the perfect comp is a brand new house. If a brand new house is in that area, in that neighborhood, that is what you want to use. If not, which is a lot of areas, you want to use the nicest house, the one that's been flipped, as a comp. So let's say the nicest house sold for $300,000. Okay? Now, what you want to do is times this by 0.2. All right? This is 20%. All right? 20% of this is $60,000. This is typically the price that a builder or a builder, we'll just go builder, would want to purchase this at. And then I'll tell you the other option here. But $60,000 is typically what a builder would build. They would put $150 into it to build the house, and then they'd sell it for $300 and make a nice profit somewhere around that $60,000, $70,000 mark after all the costs and everything and the cost of the property. But it's literally just this. Just times the best comp by 20%, that's it, and you got to be under that. Hopefully you're at 40. Okay? Now, a beautiful, the other option here is selling this to the next door neighbors or the neighbors that border that property for this price. Hey, listen, I'm going to put this out into the market. Typically a builder is going to purchase this piece of land. I want to give you, this is your neighborhood, you live here, it's right next to you. I want to give you like the first option to purchase this, and that way you know what's going to be next to you, or you just double your lot size, right? So make sure that you sell to the neighbors as well. That you reach out to the neighbors. So in that land, you lock that up, you skip trace all the neighbors that border that lot and call them up and see if they want a first shot at it. And then put it out to your cash buyer database and find a builder that is going to build here and sell there. Got it? Good.
What's the other way you were going to do it?
That's it. The other way was basically selling it to the neighbor. Yeah. Yeah. So it's builders and it's neighbors that you want to go after. Yeah, Kyle Scott. I am in Phoenix and I'm looking to get my first deal. I've heard Phoenix is super competitive. Would you recommend starting off cold calling in a virtual market? No, Kyle. Listen, put the work in. I am telling you, some of the best students I have in the country are right here in Phoenix, Arizona, and they are not hearing any of the noise. We block out the noise in the TTP family, all right? In the TTP coaching, we block out the noise and we look at what we're doing. We're finding there is so many. Drive around, Kyle. Drive around. Go look at all the properties that you can find that have not been renovated. It's unlimited. Right? It is a conveyor belt. There's more opportunities out there than there are investors like you and I to get those deals. And remember, it's about timing and it's about your skills. It's about the way that you communicate. It's the way that you follow up. It's the way that you put their interests first. It's the way that you qualify them based on the condition, timeline, motivation, and their price, baby. You've got plenty of opportunities here in Phoenix. If you want to investigate, that's fine. Pick a small market. Pick any market. Pick any market. You can make calls and see if that works out better for you. But I think that you're going to find being in town with all the resources that you have here. And if you need anything, if you lock up something, reach out to me, DM me on Instagram, and I'll certainly help you out, brother, for sure. Because I am a buyer. So, yeah, reach out. But yeah, I would start here, Kyle. Awesome. Tony asks, hey, Brent, do you find it more profitable to close on the property and then list it on the MLS? Tony, a couple different things here. That is a great question. It depends on the condition of the property. If the condition of the property is something that you can go in with a couple grand and clean up, like literally get like the guys that pick up junk, 1-800-JUNK or whatever the heck it is, and they go in, they junk out the house and it looks good and it's empty, and you do the landscaping and you put it on there, then those are solid opportunities. The issue that you're going to run into, Tony, is you have to educate a lot of property owners, right? I mean, a lot of real estate agents. You got to educate them and let them know that this is completely as is, that you have not owned this property for a long time, that if they have an FHA buyer that you have to own the property for 90 days before an FHA buyer can buy it, that it's not for them. Like, all of these things are important, right? And it just depends on how strong your own cash buyer database is. In Phoenix, our cash buyer database is so strong we actually get more money not putting it on the MLS, because people love the off-market opportunities. They love that nobody else knows about it. But sometimes, a few times this year on these huge deals that we do that are pretty clean, the properties are in decent shape, we'll close on them, we'll put them on the market, and we make a good amount. So I would say that the filter for that, Tony, is what is the condition of that property. And if you don't have a cash buyer database, then it's, put it on the MLS.
Is that what wholesaling is?
Yes.
Wholesaling?
Mm-hmm. It's exactly what wholesaling is. Wholesaling is just taking down the property and putting it back on the MLS without making significant amount of repairs. Yeah. It's a great strategy, Tony. Try it out. I mean, if you don't have a cash buyer database and you have the ability to close on those deals, it's the perfect strategy. If you've got a really solid cash buyer database, then, I would test it out with your cash buyer database. Make sure that you get what you want out of it or expect out of it, and then put it on the MLS if you're not getting it. Yeah, that's awesome. Do we have any celebrations today? This thing is getting cold over here. We need to warm it up. So if you have locked up a deal, if you have sold a deal, if you've gotten paid on a deal, we want to know about it. We want to recognize you, and we want to celebrate your success. So make sure that you post it in the comments, either on Instagram or on YouTube live. AR. Brent, right? That's an AR? Automatic rifle? Yeah, okay. Question to the how to comp land question that you just answered. How far can you go to compare the value? Zip code or city? I prefer neighborhood. I prefer the neighborhood. Look at what the highest sale is in that neighborhood and work off of that AR. Don't go too far out. You don't want to have a piece of land that's in a subdivision where the houses are worth 300 and you see another piece of land that's in a subdivision that sells for 800, 900,000. That's not comparable. You're not going to get the same value. No builder's going to be like, oh, I think it's a great idea to go into this neighborhood and build a $800,000 house surrounded by $200,000, $300,000 houses. Just doesn't work out well with appraisals, doesn't work out well with the actual buyers, the people that want to live in that neighborhood. People that can afford to live in an $800,000-$900,000 neighborhood typically want to be surrounded by houses that are $800,000 and $900,000 to keep their property value strong and not be the castle in that area. So keep it real close. Keep it real close. Oh, Bobby, come on, man. There we are. I love it. Congratulations, Bobby. That is absolutely fantastic. Keep it rolling, brother. And keep the profits, right? I don't know how you got it. I hope it was just picking up the phone and TTPing or door knocking or something proactive. I hope it was. Keep the money. Don't get crazy. Just keep it all. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. Put in the work right now. That 5, the next deal will be 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. I'm telling you, if it's just your first deal starting out and you start building up that cash buyer database, that 5K deal could have been a 20K deal. Trust me, I went from averaging 12K to now 39K, right? And it was all because of the cash buyer database. So keep building it, build up your cash buyer database. If you need help with that, ttpinsider.com, ttpinsider.com. They're in the tools and resources section. The toolbox is a breakdown of the cash buyer pack that's going to show you how to get your first 100 buyers, the best 100 buyers in your marketplace. It's absolutely critical, and it'll help you build it up. So TTP Insider, if you're not an insider, do it. It's absolutely for free. Absolutely free. All right, good. We're rolling. Scott, great to see you, buddy. We have several lots of vacant land in South Florida. Having a hard time finding buyers. How do you find builders for your vacant lot sales? I would go to every single real estate agent that has sold a new house. Literally, you could just filter it. Year built, right? Year built, 2020 and beyond. I mean, 2020 to now. Year built, and filter through those. Call those real estate agents and see if they're interested. See if their clients are interested. Typically, they are their own clients. So go in there, find those real estate agents, and make sure that you have those conversations. That's the best way. Those agents, typically, there is like a handful of agents in your market that work with all the new home builders because they give them a sweet deal, and they put together these packages, and they do a really great job of selling brand new houses. And you need to reach out to them and get those lots in front of them ASAP today, Scott. Yeah, you'll find a lot of opportunity there. That's great. Can you look at this zip code 93308, okay? 3308. California. All right, we're looking at it. Okay, great. This looks like it is Bakersfield. Fantastic. Looks like right there they're showing 3,168 cash buyers. Look at that heat map, baby. Look at that heat map. I mean, that's looking good. So you're seeing the price growth in this is really good. You know, over the 6 months, it is just going bananas over here. So very solid area, very solid market. I think you're going to find a lot of cash buyers in that area, right? Here's your cash buyers over here. You can filter through these. You can go through these cash buyers and filter them for the last year. And then you can really start honing in on the most active buyers right now. Yeah, that's awesome. So Bakersfield, yeah, I like Bakersfield. It's right in that good price range as well. Let me see the stats for it real quick. Look at that. Fantastic. Average list price. Guys, right here. It gives you all the data. You have all the data. Every serious real estate investor has PropStream. They do. ttpdata.com. 240,000. That's a perfect sweet spot. I love it. So get every distressed property. I mean, you've got opportunities there like crazy. You've got 262 vacants. Look at this. 262 vacants in this area. You've got over 1,000 properties that have liens. You've got 19 pre-foreclosures and a ton of high equity. So I like it. 93308. Fantastic. What does the process of dispo look like in your business? Ralph, that's fantastic. So a couple different things. Number one, everything goes through my disposition manager, Jeremy. And if you're interested in seeing how I pay him and what his roles and responsibilities are, that was last week's episode. Make sure that you watch the first 20 minutes of that episode and get a real clear breakdown of the way that my company is designed so that I can keep as much profit as possible. But the dispo process is we get together all the details. We don't add comps. We put at least 30 to 50. 30 is our minimum amount of pictures in a link, a Google Drive or a Dropbox link. All right, we put that into our email blast. I think he's just using MailChimp, and it's been verified because all these people, like our emails. They're not getting marked as spam, so we can use MailChimp. And he blasts them out to everybody, and then what he does is he gets a response back, and he starts bidding up the process. So we put the pictures, we put the address, we put the details. We don't go into expected repairs. We don't go into here are the comps, all of these things. We might put an estimated ARV in there, might not, just depending on the property, but most of the time we do. But we just put that property out, and the buyers are after it quick, and then he'll go and find the highest and best buyer for that property, Ralph. So don't overthink it. I mean, if you have 100 cash buyers or less, you need to text and call every single one of them as soon as you get a deal. As soon as you get a deal, you got to send that out. You got to send it out to them and let them know. Now, some people some businesses like Keegley have very specific buyers in very specific areas. So they call them and get those properties sold. They'll call them. Then they'll put them on the email blast. But for the most part, we'll put it out to everybody and see who's ready for the sweet deal that we put in front of them. And we have a breakdown. It's actually part of the TTP program, the actual coaching program that we have, the TTP family. And if you are interested in that, not to put it out and not to make this an advertisement, but for the 4th of July sale, it's $1,000 off. And that's you and I working together, and total access to me and a ton of other things. You could check that out at, where do you want me to send them, Jesse? ttpcall.com, ttpcall.com. Check that out. Phenomenal discount till Monday. So check that out if you're interested in getting in there. But we have a whole disposition course in there that people have access to, and it's phenomenal. Yeah! Oh, Scott, come on. There we go. I love it. 23,000. 23,000. What's the median salary, W-2 salary right now? What's the median income for a 40, 42, something like that? That's for a family, right? 23,000. One conversation, one distressed property owner, one going out on that appointment and getting that property under contract, one putting it out to the cash buyers, 23,000.
In 2019, the median was like 35 grand and some change
For the household?
for individual.
Oh, individual.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. He's 70% on one deal. Like, guys, I am telling you, this business is so unbelievably powerful. Unbelievably powerful. This isn't like some sort of, you're trying to predict the future. You're buying some sort of, whatever crypto or some sort of stock or some sort of, investing in whatever else that you're hoping makes sense. You know what I mean? That you're hoping goes up. Like, this is like unbelievably real. That if you go out and you find a property owner that is in distress and that property needs some love and you have a quality conversation with them, you are going to win. You're going to win like Scott here. I am telling you, it is the most incredible business of all time. Not only that, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Not only that, you then have the skill of discovering discounted properties. You then have the ability to be a magnet, to be Magneto in your area to find these opportunities and to raise money. If you want to do flips, if you want to develop, if you want to buy every third property, every fifth property, every 10th property to make as a rental or an Airbnb, and you get it at a discount, and then you go through the whole process and you burr it, and you get all your money back, so you got no money into these properties, but then it's cash flowing. I mean, guys, this is the life hack. This is the financial hack. Look at this. This rhino's getting crazy. It is. I'm telling you, this business is so wildly incredible. It can change your life like that if you put in the work. And that's the big thing. Don't let those self-limiting beliefs hold you back. Don't be tied down to that stake. Don't let it do it. Don't do it. If you take the action, you will win. This business will work if you do. This business will work if you do. End rant. Thank you. Thank you for that opportunity, Jesse. Joe Dirt. Nice. How accurate the data from PropStream, and where does PropStream get their data from? There's a lot of different data providers. CoreLogic is a typical one that a lot of people get their data from. But I think that they kind of mishmash with a lot of different things. I know that the last time that I talked to Rob, the owner of PropStream, they had some super data scientist on their team that they pay a ridiculous amount for to be able to, pull all of the data together and has all the connections to the different data companies that pull it. I don't care where it comes from. I would say that the accuracy on it is probably 70%. For like across the board with all the data that they provide, which is really strong, really, really strong for something that's nationwide. Right now, there's probably some local places that might bump that up to 80%. I know that ListSource, I think, is probably 85%. They do a really good job, but they're anywhere from, if you're in the TTP program, in the TTP coaching, it is 3 cents an address, but typically it's like 11 to 12 cents an address, which makes it significantly more expensive than the PropStream $97 a month. That you can pull 10,000 addresses. So, listen, we use it in our business and we do deals. So, don't overthink it, Joe. Just pull it and test it and see how the results are for you. But you won't know until you're face-to-face, belly-to-belly, knee-to-knee with those property owners, or at least voice-to-voice over the phone or text with those property owners, how accurate it is in your area. But it's used everywhere. Literally everywhere. But good question. Okay, Ashley. Is taxed assessed value a factor? Not really. I mean, I'm going to go, I don't know if that's kind of popping up, Ashley, from the comment that I made on land, looking at the tax assessed value on land, that's just an estimate. They're just looking at, kind of the overall value, and they're putting a number to it. And that's what they tax. Remember, all of the things that we have, all of the things that our state has, is coming from property taxes. I mean, some from sales tax, but for the most part, the budgets come from property taxes. So they look at, okay, how wealthy is our population in certain areas? And how do we get a little bit more of that little chunk so that we can fund better schools and better police and fire departments and streets and public spaces and sanitation, and all these things come from real estate property taxes. All right. That's why I think that what we do is so incredible for our community, because we get all of these 11 million properties in the United States have been vacant for over a year. Most of those are not paying property taxes. Most of them. How crazy is that? 14 billion a year in property taxes are lost a year. So I love it. I love going after properties that aren't paying the property taxes and getting them back into the cycle and giving back to the community, because I think that this is where we live, man. I want to live somewhere nice. So the tax assessed value, I'm kind of going off on a tangent here, but the tax assessed value is just an estimate. I don't use it much. I really don't. Some people use it as like a baseline, whatever the tax assessor is. That's what they'll offer on a property, because typically it's about 60% of what the property's actually worth, but it depends on what area you're in. Tax assessed with land, throw out 10% to see if they just want to get rid of it. You're looking for land. If you're going after land and it's rural, this isn't stuff that's in town. This isn't stuff that's in the subdivisions. This is if it's rural, outside, kind of in the path of progress or further, then you want to throw out 10% of that tax assessed, which is going to be low. I mean, oftentimes those, it's like nothing, and just see what their bottom line is. If they want the tax assessed value, then you can go back to the drawing board and look at the comps in that area and see if there's anything that is selling for significantly more. But with land, you have to get it really, you got to get it dirt cheap. Huh? Yeah, give me a laugh on that, a laugh track on that. There we go. There you go, Ashley. Hope that answered it. If not, just hit us back. Addison, hello, Brent. I have locked up my first deal and have gotten the assignment signed. Well, we got a ring for that, huh? Come on. Do I send this assignment agreement to my title company, or is this yes, Addison, send it to the title company. Everything. Any document that is signed, that is going around, whatever, you send it to the title company. Let the title company do their job. But yes, absolutely send it in right now. What we do, and I highly suggest, I guess you could do it just with like Apple phones. You can turn them into PDFs. Just Google it, how to turn a picture into a PDF. But I use TurboScan because it just does it. But apparently the new updates with iPhone, you can just turn any picture into a PDF. But I use TurboScan. I take a picture immediately, send it directly to the escrow officer right now on everything. Purchase agreement, assignment agreement, anything. Any addendums, anything, I am sending to the title company as soon as possible. Yeah, because they coordinate everything, Addison. They're not going to know that you're getting paid or that you assigned it until you send it to them. Got it? Awesome. Freddie H. Have a seller with multiple distressed properties, some fire damage, said they are taking bids on all their properties when texting. Is it better to work one property at a time or try for all? Freddie, I'm telling you right now, if they're texting you that they're taking bids on all their properties, 99% of the time they're going to want too much. I'm just telling you. I'm telling you, if somebody owns multiple properties, they're a savvy real estate investor. Now, if these properties are completely destroyed, get them on the phone, have a conversation with them, pick their worst one. Mr. or Mrs. Seller, I want to work with you, but let's do one property at a time so that we can get 100% comfortable with each other. What is your worst problem child? What is your worst property that you have? That's the one that I want to go after and make happen, and just see if they're open to that. The people that say, I will not sell my properties unless it is a package, is a trap. It's a trap. Can you get that Star Wars? It's a trap. That'd be great. Or pull it up, Matt. Because it's true. It is a trap, because what they're trying to do is they're trying to get a ridiculous price. I have seen time and time again, there's a very successful, and this is just real life, very successful real estate investor in town, did a package of 33 deals, was able to sell 26 of those deals or so, 24 of those deals or so. The other 8 or 9 he took down at basically retail, and foreclosed on all of them, and lost all his profits from all the other sales in those deals because the package was not a deal. The package was like an 85% ARV. Peeling off a few, they thought that they could make it up by peeling off most of them and selling them, but they were only getting, $10,000 a deal, and it didn't add up, and they lost everything, had to file bankruptcy because they put personal guarantees on those properties. I'm telling you, it happens all the time. People get over their skis. They see that it's a package deal, and I'm telling you, 99.999% of the time, it's a trap. All right? It's an absolute trap. There it is. There you go. Perfect. So what I would do is Freddie, one. Find their problem child. If they're not willing to sell, if they want to do this whole huge package thing, it should be a big red flag. Unless you throw out a price, I would throw out whatever, get the ARVs on all of them, throw out 60% of it and see what they say. Most of the time they tell you to go pound sand. They say no way. They'll wait it out. And honestly, what's their motivation? They've got all these properties that probably have a ton of equity in them. What's their motivation? You know, tired landlords, great. Then sell it retail. Most of them do. All right. I think I kicked that as much as possible. Kick that. All right. Isaiah, how do you go about finding transactional lenders for double closes? How often do you do double closes in your business? Well, a couple different things. Remember, there's a difference here, Isaiah, between double closes and double escrow. Now, in some states, they don't allow double escrow, so it just depends on where you're at. I'm assuming they don't allow it in your area. Double escrow is essentially you use the cash buyer's funds to fund your purchase at the same time, simultaneously, so you don't have to come in with your own funds. Transactional lenders, you can look into them. Typically, they charge a bunch of fees, anywhere from 2 to 3 points, which is 2 to 3% of the amount that they send in. So they're very expensive. My suggestion would be is you find the best private money lender in town, okay? The best. Whoever it is, somebody that's got a great reputation, they've got a good amount of funds, they do a good job, they communicate well, they get the funds there on time, they're just phenomenal. And they're typically going to want you to put anywhere from 10 to 20% down. I want you to go out to anybody that you can, other investors, your family, friends, whoever, and find that 10 to 20% to put down. Say, listen, guys, I will pay you $1,000. I'll pay you $2,000 to get your funds for 1 hour or whatever it is. I'll pay you $500. I'll pay you whatever arrangement you want to do. Let's just say $1,000. Hey, Bob, I know that you're looking for investment opportunities. I've got a deal where I've locked up a discounted property. I already have a cash buyer for this property. I'm going to be making $18,000 on this deal, but I need 10 to 20% down so that I can get a hard money loan for the rest of it, just a regular hard money loan for the rest of it, and close this deal, and then it's going to be closing the same day. What do you say? Is it worth $1,000 for you to go on your online banking and wire to this account X amount of dollars? That's it. Right? That is the smoothest way, so you don't have to pay all those fees. Then what happens is you build a wonderful reputation in the marketplace and a wonderful relationship with that private money, hard money lender. Then all of a sudden, they trust you. They're like, we'll give you 100%. We'll transactional fund it. Let me look at it. Let me take a look, and we'll just charge you the regular fees. That happens all the time. So that's the suggestion there. Or just find somebody that can be your financial backer and do 100% of it, and then you just pay in the fee if you don't want to go get it with a private money lender. But it's a lot easier to raise 10 to 20% than 100% from your database, from your network. Awesome. Johnny Monopoly, there he is. I have found that saturation is only a limiting belief because I'm in SoCal, solo, just me locking up a deal every other week, banging out the phones 6 hours a day, 5 days a week. Hashtag work harder. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Johnny. I'm giving it to you. I'm giving it to you. That is incredible. It is a self-limiting belief. Here's somebody in probably top 3 hottest markets of all time. I mean, have you been to Southern California? It's like a treat. It's like a treasure. It's just fantastic. I understand why houses are $1 bazillion there. I mean, the lifestyle in Southern California is bananas, let alone the beautiful people that live there, the beautiful beaches, come on. It's just fantastic. So if he can do it in Southern California, you can do it in Las Vegas. You can do it in Salt Lake. You can do it in Spokane, Washington. You can do it in Memphis, Tennessee. You can do it in Vermont. whatever, Connecticut. You could do it anywhere. I'm just telling you, self-limiting beliefs. Don't be the elephant tied to the stake. Rip that baby out and run. You've got it. You've got all of it. You got all the power. You got all the potential. Just add the education, because that education is going to give you that confidence, and then just take action with the instruction that you get from this channel. If you have not subscribed to this channel, which I know some of you have not, do it right now and click that button, because I'm going to give you a jolt of energy every single day. Every single day we come out with something. So make sure that you subscribe to this channel. We do a terrible job of clickbaity stuff and going off topic. We stay right in line with real estate instruction so that you can be successful. It is the most pure real estate investing channel on planet Earth. All right, it is. I'm telling you. Make sure that you subscribe and hit that bell button. Awesome, Jesse. You're coming. You're on fire, baby. You're just crushing. You're crushing right now. All right. Dame Dola 313. If you didn't have a lot of time because of work, would you get a list or cold call or drive for dollars? I would cold call my drive for dollars. That's what I would do. Absolutely. Because those are 80% of the time that's going to be your first deals. And because you're so laser focused with your time, you got a time block, right? Listen to me. Sustainability is an incredibly important word in your first 6 months in this business. Because if you can sustain your efforts, and listen to me, I don't care if it's 15 minutes a day of you being proactive, reaching out to property owners, 30 minutes a day, an hour a day. You can do it. You can find it. We have 24 hours. We have 24 hours. The average person, we talked about this on Wholesale Hotline on Monday. The average person spends 7 hours a day consuming entertainment. Whether that be TV, whether that be music, whether that be online, whether that be gaming, 7 hours a day. I am telling you, you can peel off an hour. You can peel off 10 minutes. You can peel off 15 minutes. But I would 100%, because of work and kids and life and responsibilities, find that sweet spot, that 15, 30 minutes, hour a day that you are going to be proactive and reach out to somebody. This isn't doing study time. This isn't watching the YouTube channel. That's outside of it. This is you actually taking the action, getting that property that you drove for dollars, looking at their phone number and calling that number. Boom. Calling it right now. Don't even think about it. Call them up. Use the TTP script. If you don't have it, TTP Insider Toolbox, of course, and call them. It's as simple as that. Don't overthink it. Well, I don't know about comps. It's fine. Listen, you're going to get, you are going to learn about comps. We've got a million things about comping in here. And if you really feel like you don't understand if this is a deal or not a deal, you literally just Google wholesale real estate in your area and find the company that will work with you and split the deal with you the first 3-5 deals that you do to teach you the ropes and get these properties across the finish line. There is literally no excuses. There's no excuses. There you go. What are you eating, beef jerky now? Oh, he's powering up. Mahoney's powering up. Fulton, can you look at zip code 82056? 28056. Let's take a look at this. Oh, hold on. I got to get rid of the other one. Oh, I'm telling you, my team is on PropStream. I got to get like my own account. Whatever. Your account is already logged in. All right, let's take a look at this. 28. If you guys are wondering if I actually use PropStream, there you go. Oh, North Carolina. Listen, North Carolina is on fire. North Carolina is absolutely ridiculously bananas. All right, look at this. You got 83 vacant here. You got 17 with liens. You got 26 foreclosures. I assume that this is kind of a more spread out area. It's a little bit more rural in North Carolina. There's some good pockets in here. I think it's phenomenal. Let's look at the stats here. It looks like, don't look at this. This is just off of the MLS data, but it's a 263. Sweet spot. Sweet spot. I like this. I like this area a lot. I like anything in North Carolina right now. I'm telling you, it's like Arizona. It's just absolutely bananas. and most of Texas. Well, not most of Texas, but the big areas in Texas. Florida's going crazy. I mean, it's incredible. It is absolutely incredible what's going on right now. But yeah, I like that area. I think that there's good potential there. Make sure that you're driving for dollars. Make sure that you're building up your list, and then yeah, I don't think you'll have a problem selling those deals. Nice. Oh, my man Ben, that is phenomenal. Yes. Got a property, got a house under contract yesterday from Ben Turk. Come on. Man, look at this. You know what's the best part about this, guys? The best part about all of this is when you succeed and you get a little bit loud about it, even if it's just on comments on our show, other people in here that haven't done a deal that are in your marketplace you can start squatting up with. How incredible is that? I mean, it's absolutely incredible. You should let people know about it. You should let people know how passionate about it. You should be extremely loud about what you do. You should be taking your phone and Instagramming and Facebooking your day. You don't have to be some sort of personality. You don't have to make it fake. You don't have to be like baller. You could just be like, this is me driving for dollars. This is me comping a property. This is me walking an ugly house. People love it. It's a lot better than, you know, whatever, posting a picture of your salad that you had, some sort of, you know, delicious salad. It's a lot better seeing you in action, and people are going to really love that. Jake, does judicial versus non-judicial only matter for foreclosures? That's the process for those foreclosures. You know, when you have to, when a lien holder has to go through a judge and the courts to be able to close on that. I mean, remember, foreclosures aren't just mortgages, right? There's HOA foreclosures, there's lien foreclosures, there's property tax foreclosures. You know, there's a ton of different ways that people lose their properties. Now, property tax is typically held by somebody else, a sheriff's sale or something else, treasurer's sale. But judicial it's just a longer process, and it costs more for the lien holder to get those properties through. Here in Arizona, I mean, you go to the trustee auction and it's done, right? It doesn't go through anything. If you haven't paid, you get notice, and then they auction off your property. So, foreclosures, yeah. Tranquility Zone, what's your favorite list? Driving for dollars, for sure. Guys, if you guys don't have Deal Machine, I'm telling you, dealmachine.com, make sure that you use the TTP coupon code. It's the biggest discount that they give because they love the people that come the people that come into Deal Machine stay in Deal Machine. Because the people that come and use that code TTP are actually out there doing deals. So they love it. So they're like, listen, we'll give you the biggest discount we can. That's why we get the biggest discount. It's not an incredible amount, but listen, $50 a month and you've got so much power in your hands with that app. It's bananas. So driving for dollars, pulling those are finding the most distressed, ugliest properties in your marketplace is what we do. And that's where you get the biggest deals. From there, I really, really, really love tired multifamily deals. And we're going after bigger ones. We did an 8-plex that made us over 100,000 this year. We've done a property that was a single family, but it was zoned multifamily that we did over $100,000. Oh no, $91,000 this year. Like tired multifamily owners. Yeah, those are the two. And then a lot of people around the country, a lot of my students that I'm coaching are having great success with land, vacant land, which you saw earlier today. That's why I wanted to break it down, because it gets a little bit confusing because there's not a lot of, comps for land. Joseph. Sorry to be so persistent, but I'm going to lose this deal if I don't get a solution. How can I lock up a mobile home that has no land since it goes through the DMV and not title company? If this is Joseph Miranda, my Joseph Miranda in Phoenix, you just got to lock it up like it's a car. and go through the DMV. So you just literally get a price, put it through the DMV, and put it out there and see who wants to buy it. Typically, you're going to sell it on something like Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist, and go through the DMV with that. But, if you're locking up something that doesn't come with the land, you're just locking up personal property, not real property. And there's a difference there. Real property goes through title companies, personal property. In this case, something that's mobile goes to the DMV. So you got to lock it up, go through the DMV. You got to buy it, essentially. Or you could try to assign it, but you're going to have to assign it to somebody that is looking to buy just that mobile home. So typically, Joseph, you have to close on it. And then if it's a good deal, just find the money. You'll find it. I think that's Joseph Alejandro. Yeah. Last month, I was just texting Brent, Kevin Griffin, on how I haven't got a house under contract in a while. I just landed 2 contracts today. One of them was a house and a lot combo. Kevin, come on, player. Come on. Just like that. Just like that. Persistence. It was probably a lead that he had, or maybe it was just something that he called and they're ready to go. But just like that. Congratulations, Kevin. Fantastic. That's incredible. Part of the TTP family. That's why he said he was texting me. Anybody in the coaching program, it's $1,000 off this week until Monday. Just letting you know. Gets access, gets my phone number, gets access to text, and we text all day. That's what we do. Huh? TTPcall.com. Can we make a little runner on that, Matt? TTPcall.com, $1,000 off this week. I'm just telling you that because it's a discount, and some people are waiting for the discount. So, yeah, this is the time. 4th of July, baby. Great job, Kevin. Soul Main. What's the best way to structure my wholesaling business? I've yet to get a deal, and I feel like I'm all over the place. Go deep before you go wide. Go deep. Listen, there's 3 parts, right? There's 3 parts. Let's go. Let's change up the scenery a little bit here. Let's go back to the whiteboard. Boop. Here we go. Whatever. 3 parts. 1. Lead generation. 2, conversion. Conversion of that lead into a signed contract. And 3, exit strategy. Right here, this is where you're living. This is where you're going crazy. This is your first 90 days in this business. You are a maniac. You are a lion out there. You are hunting for these opportunities. This is the engine of your business. This is where it all starts. But if you're not focused on one marketing channel, you're going to be all over the place. I'm telling you. And listen, if you want it to be text because of your schedule, great. If you want it to be calls, fantastic. Door knocking, great. Direct mail, it depends on where you're at. Internet leads, it depends on where you're at, right? Traditional marketing right now for wholesale deals is so extremely expensive that you got to be proactive. So if you're going to be proactive, you got 2 choices, right? You've got really 3, but 2 main ones: door knocking and calling. Third one will be text messaging, but those are getting limited here by the carriers. So lead generation, you got to go real deep with this. You got to be real consistent with this. This goes back to that word sustainable. Sustainable action. Because what typically happens, Solomon, is we make calls. Yes, we're making calls. We're being productive. Oh, you know what? It's raining today. Nobody wants to answer the phone when it's raining. But tomorrow I'm going crazy. And then the day after, oh no, I'm not going to make calls. I'm not getting any leads yet. Oh, I'm motivated again. And then the efforts start decreasing because we're not seeing the results that we want. But we're not seeing the results that we want because we're not taking sustainable action every single day. And what people do is make the mistake, well, I can't be consistent. I'm going to get a VA for $4 or $5 an hour to make calls for me. Guess what? It's going to take between 500 and 1,000 hours to get a deal from a $4 to $5 an hour VA. That's the stats. 500 to 1,000 hours. Go ahead, Mike.
So somebody like Solely Maine, they're new, they haven't done a deal. They shouldn't even be worried about structuring their wholesaling business. I mean, more worried about structuring their day and focusing on lead gen and not even really worrying about the other two parts of the business, right?
Yeah, and Mike, I feel like that's kind of what he was saying with that is like, how do I structure getting how do I get the deals? How do I structure my day? The day is have an honest look at your schedule and find a time when you can be sustainable. When you can be sustainable and be consistent. TTPcall.com. Wow, we got a lot of websites. I don't know. TTPcall.com, $1,000 off to the end of the week for the coaching. TTP family, the program, the coaching. Absolutely incredible. Does it have everything that it's about there? Does it break down the whole program?
No, that's a shorter landing page, just to book a call.
Okay, that's a shorter page. Well, where do they go if they want to know more about it? The Wholesaling Inc.
Talktopeople.com/coaching.
Okay, ttpcall.com. Just the call is worth it. It's fantastic. Either way, we'll we'll see where you're at and figure out what to do next. All right. Fantastic. Would you say ListSource has better? Yes. ListSource has better data than PropStream by about 10%, but the cost is significantly more. Where are other sites you can pull lists other than those two? TTP gets ListSource discount. TTP, people in the TTP program do, because we've got that relationship with them. I don't have a discount code just for the general public, but in our coaching program, we get it at 3 cents instead of 9 or 12 cents or whatever it is that they're charging now, kind of adjust it. But you get a significant discount in the program. Another one is Atom Data, ATTOM Data. It's very similar. I think they all get it from Core Logic. And I think that's where ListSource gets theirs as well. Atom Data is the other one. Again, it's expensive. So that's why most people go with PropStream, because PropStream gets you rolling. And if you get a bigger budget and you want to get a 10% advantage, then you can pay for it through ListSource or Atom Data. Yep. What list would you stay away from when starting to build momentum? Owner occupied with equity. That is an absolute bare knuckle fist fight. I mean, going after people that own properties and they have equity and they live in them. It's kind of like the last resort that you go after to try to find some opportunities, because there's not really a sign of distress. There's not really that motivation. They have the equity part. Remember, 2 parts. You need equity and motivation. They've got the equity part, but the motivation part's not really there, and they get super sassy with you when you call them up and you ask them if they would consider an offer, because they get a lot of calls from bigger groups that hire 15, 20 callers to call everybody, and yeah, they do not want to sell. And when they don't want to sell, they're tired of those calls. So go after the properties that have the motivation, some sort of signs of distress. Second to that, the most competitive is going to be your absentee owners that live out of town. Everybody pulls it. Everybody pulls it. Here's your tired landlords that live out of town. They live, their mailing address is different in a different state than their property address. You can pull it right off of PropStream, and it makes it super easy. They made it so easy that everybody calls them, so they're getting beat up pretty well. So just get unique. Just start playing around with different lists. Test them, Daniel. Hamilton. I love that name. That's a great name. Hamilton. Brent, when a homeowner asks for a price and I give them a number and they say it's too low and someone else is offering full cash offer price on their property, how do you overcome that objection? That is fantastic. I want you to get the most out of this property. Let me ask you, why haven't you accepted that offer yet? Right? Listen, the question there, Hamilton, there's so much in this question that I really want to pull apart because I love it. First of all, they're coming and they're saying, hey, Hamilton, sorry, bro, but you're offering 160. I want 230. I already have a cash offer at 230. I mean, if you can beat it, come on, right? Number one, if they haven't accepted what they want for the property, are they motivated? How's their timeline? Are they just taking offers? Are they just playing around? Are they thinking maybe they want to sell it? Or are they 100% convinced that they are going to sell this property in the next 30 days? Because typically when somebody's doing this, they're not ready to sell. Typically when somebody's fishing for offers, they're just looking to get retail minus, and then they want to save on the real estate agent costs, right? Or they're just curious. They're just bored. You know, you've got some of these tired landlords that talk about it. I've talked to so many, thousands of landlords that are just like, hey, young buck. This is when I was much younger. But hey, young man, you want to offer? Yeah, send me an email with your offer, or call me back with your offer price. Oh, okay. So if I can get you what you want, are you ready to get your money out of this property in the next 14 to 30 days? Well, we'll take a look at what your offer is, young man. Let's start with that first, right? I'm telling you, this is real. People are just like, well, let's just dance a little bit. They're just curious. They're bored. They're just like, what's going on in the market out there? What are people offering for properties? Every day, every news station, everything is like, the market's going bananas. Every newspaper, every article, the market's out of control. It's fantastic. Look at us. Post-COVID, this is incredible. There's a shortage of housing. That means that the houses that are here are just going through the roof with a combination of low interest rates. It's fantastic. They're all hearing it. They're all hearing it. You're looking for the people that are just like, hey, listen, I'm done with this property, and I am willing to trade equity in this, potential equity in this, for speed and convenience. That's it. If they're trying to get you with the, I already have this and this, remember, you are not, this right here, there's a difference, Hamilton, between a condition and an objection. All right? The condition here is they want retail. You're not going to convince them to take discount. This isn't an objection. An objection is, how long have you been in business? How many deals have you done? How quickly are you able to close, and can you close on my timeline? Like those are some things that we can get around. We can get through those. But hey, I want 230 and you want to give me 160? That's a condition. What are you going to do? Well, listen, I think 160 is fantastic. I'll give it to you in Bitcoin. What? I'll give it to you in gold. No. People want what they want for the property. All right? You're not going to convince them otherwise. Oh, finally. Let's get these comping hands going. Here we go. Okay, Ben, absolutely. Here we go. So we are looking. Let's see if I got kicked out again. Hopefully not. 14, Abil. Give me a little bit more, Ben. You know I need a little bit more. What is this? What does the homeowner want? That's what I want to know. Ben's done some incredible things in Kingston. I'm telling you. TTP family member right here. Okay, interesting. So I'm looking at this property. Really interesting. Okay, so you've got a very unique shaped lot here. I assume that this is off a little bit because I'm thinking that this property is part of it. At least it shows that in the aerial pictures here. So you're looking at it. Okay, look at this, guys. This is what I'm talking about. I would love to live in something like this. This is great. Once it's fixed up, obviously. So I'm just taking a little bit of a look at the neighborhood, kind of getting a vibe for it. You've got a Grand or Strand House or something. Okay. Interesting. Okay, cool. Looks like a cool area. And let's look at the details here. All right, 1,700 square feet, built in 1886. 1880. Wow. That's fantastic. So 1,732 square feet. It's showing as a duplex. Ben, if you'll just be so kind as to let us know if it truly is a duplex or if it's been converted to a single family or if it's been mislabeled. All right. I just want to look at a couple different things here. I'm looking, it looks like finance, 75,007. Fantastic. It looks like zero mortgage on this thing. I love it. Let me look at anything else here. They've owned it since 2011, and they got it at a bargain and sale deed. So interesting, non-owner occupied. So I would assume that these are investors, and I'm real curious to know what their motivation to sell this is, or if it's vacant. You know, some people that bought properties in 2011 did it for pure speculation. They didn't want to put anything else. They thought, you know, I'll just hold this as long as possible. So what I like doing is going both here, guys, both public record and MLS. It just gives you, you know, some more info, some more data. And I'm going to just look at this thing real well. We need to know if it's a duplex. So I'm going to wait on getting real nitty gritty until we hear that from Ben. I'm going to look at the neighbors here. I love this. This is my favorite tool that the PropStream does. It really is, Mike. This neighbors button that pulls all the neighbors, even though they've sold like years ago, it gives you a really good idea. And then I go sale date on these deals, and I look for, obviously something's going off here, commercial. That's why I want to go property class into duplex if I can. But let's just look at this. You've got some commercial, single family, 120. Look at that. How crazy is that? Apartments are good. Commercial's good. Townhouse, 190. A lot of commercial, duplex. Here's a duplex right here, Union. But that sold 2017. So we're going to have to get into the comparables and see what's going on. Let's see if there are some property types that are similar. Here we go. Look at this. This is giving us a decent idea here of what's happening. You've got all these duplexes here. You've got from 270 to... You got 345. Let's see where 6 is. Let's make sure that it's within the area. Look at that. Look at 6. Look at that. 6 is over here. You got a little park here. It's probably a little bit more insulated from traffic than our target property here. But this is a good, look at this, 6. So let's take a look at this at 345. This one's a little bit smaller than ours. It's at 1598. Just bear with me. We are taking up a lot of the internet power with this show. But look at this. I mean, just a beautiful, but this is more standalone, right? This feels a lot more, it feels a lot more private. Feels like you got a little bit bigger yard, but very clean. Very nice, right across from the park. You got the water there, fantastic. You got a bit of a yard. You know, with our subject property, it's a little bit different. Our subject property is a totally different feel. It could be very charming, but it's really smashed in by all those properties and is right by commercial. So there's going to be a lot more traffic there. So it's a much different buyer, end buyer, than somebody that is buying this property here, number 6. Let's look at number 5 here. Is 342, no pictures of it. 2, no, that's not a duplex. Interesting. Okay, so then as we go further out, we've got some properties here, 13, 15, 17. Let's look at 15. Let's take a look at this that went for 100,000. Oh, yeah. Yeah, baby. This is what I'm talking about. Wow, 1,500 square feet. It's got a bigger lot size than ours, but probably totally destroyed. So we've got between 100,000, right? And we've got 345, right? Fixed up, 345, a little bit more standalone. So I'm going to take 40 grand off the top just because of location from that. So I'd say ARV is probably 300 on this deal. I like that. That feels good to me. Let me look at this Pier Point one at 270. Okay, this one has a little bit more room, but look at this. Dated. Man, I don't know. Maybe I'm going to go 325 on this. I'm going to give it a little bit more. This one at 270, same size. Same kind of, I mean, it's got a little bit better feel location-wise, but you can see some commercial buildings here, right? So this is at 270, not fixed up. I'm going to put ours at 325, Ben. 325. How much do they want? Is Ben responding? Is he still around? Ben's gone. Okay. So 325. So should we do the breakdown of that? What's the offer price? Yes. All right. Good. All right. 325. This is just for everybody out there. 325 ARV. Mike, you're on the
Yep.
325. Okay. We're going to times this by 0.84. That's 10% profit for the investor and 6% for closing costs. Okay. Mike, where are we at?
273.
273. Let's say that property is a 1,700 square feet, but it was built in 1880, 1890. So it could need significant. So I'm going to put just to be safe, I'm going to put 50 in there. Especially being in New York, it might be a little bit more. Maybe not. I don't know. Somebody can correct me for labor costs. And 223 is what I think that the wholesale price would be. So I would probably be around 200, Ben, or less. So I'm real curious to see the guy that got that property for 100,000. Woo, baby! I like that. I like that a lot. That one's fantastic. Yeah, so I'd be around that price, that 200,000, and I think that you're gonna get a really good deal out of it. So, yeah, perfect. Play around. I mean, if there's anything throwing you off, just talk to a real estate agent that's sold a property in that area and tell them that you're closing on that deal and you're just wondering if it's totally beautiful, totally fixed up, what they think they could sell it for. And that's a good tool for you to use, especially people that are local there that all they do is study what things are selling for and know each street and know each, kind of area and know how to break it down and know what the values are. All right? Awesome. How do you vet buyers? Do you ask for proof of funds? Any trouble from buyer calling the owner? Kit, not typically. I mean, sometimes you have some bad actors for sure that should be blacklisted, and you should tell everybody about them if they're going behind your back like that. Let everybody know to remove them from their lists. Then as you connect more with the other wholesalers in your market, you're able to force those people out into some other industry. But the way that I vet buyers is, do you have $5,000 non-refundable earnest deposit right now? That's how you vet it. Most of the people, if they're not willing to put in the deposit, they're trying to daisy chain it. They're not real buyers, and they're just trying to get it in front of their buyers and have control of it. So I don't ask for proof of funds. What I like to do is I like to find out from the title companies who the best buyers are. I'd like to, if you're wondering about them, just say, hey, what projects have you done? What are you looking for? Can you give me an example of a product that you've sold? So I know kind of what know which properties to send you, so I'm not wasting your time. Some of those things, Kit. But for the most part, if they're willing to put $5,000 non-refundable, so they don't get that back, and they have the $5,000 and they're getting it to the title company within 24 hours of you assigning the deal to them, then they're going to be legitimate, because nobody wants to lose $5,000 just horsing around. And most people, what is it? Screwing around. Quit screwing around, right? The shop teacher on South Park. Yeah, if they're just screwing around, then they're not going to put in that earnest money. All right? Nathaniel from IG. Hey, buddy. I know you've mentioned overseas VAs are a huge mistake. Can you recommend any in-state VAs or how to find? It's not that. It's not necessarily that it is a huge mistake. I think that people try to... The issue is this. There's a couple different issues here, Nathaniel. One is if they are $4 or $5 an hour or something like that, you have to manage them. You have to train them. You have to keep them accountable. You have to keep them excited. You have to let them know of what's going on. So every week you need to have a breakdown with these, with your callers. You need to make them part of your team. You need to build them up. But the issue that I find is you have there's just some things that they're just not connecting or getting as deep as you would. You're going to be the best at calling and getting those opportunities because you're going to sink your teeth into those deals. Once your callers, even if they're fantastic and speak perfect English and understand the cultural nuances, they still aren't going to be as motivated to really get as much information out of there as possible because they're not getting the huge benefit from it. You can try to train them and everything like that, but nothing is going to be as good as you. But in town, in state, or if you're looking for Americans making calls for you, call motivatedsellers.com. Call motivatedsellers.com. You need to have a budget. It's $20 an hour, but they're phenomenal. I mean, I've used them for 3.5, 4 years and absolutely phenomenal. So, yeah, get those and then callingreps.com. If I were to, that's the only overseas caller that I have is through callingreps.com. All right. Oh, look at that. Call Motivated Sellers. Exactly. Tyler, that's what I'm saying. Call Motivated. CMS says Call Motivated Sellers has made me $70,000 so far. It's not just me. It's also Tyler. And a ton of other people. I mean, the fact is, it's kind of a secret. It's kind of like, woo, you know, if you have the budget to do it and if they approve you and if, you know, all those things, then you Call Motivated Sellers is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, they've kept people around for years, and you only do that if you're successful. So that's what I suggest. Or make the calls yourself, or, you know, use Calling Reps. Calling Reps is $10 an hour. Phenomenal. They manage it. They know the TTP script. They know how to use dialers. They've got managers, the whole thing. So if you're going to use somebody, use somebody that's managed. You use a company that you pay a little bit more for. It is worth it. All right. Here we go. Chris JB, we got some vacant land in Tampa. You guys are really messing with me now. Vacant land in Tampa.
And on this one, the seller doesn't know what it's worth, doesn't know what she wants. She is interested in selling.
Fantastic. That is a double-edged sword, Jesse, right? Because they could want way more or they could literally not want anything. So let's take a look at this.
That's fairly common with vacant land.
Yep.
Where people just don't know what it's worth.
Well, it's interesting. So let's see what Betty's paying. So she's only paying $217 a year, right? So she can sit on this thing for a while. She's owned it. It doesn't say. Let's look at the linked properties. Doesn't have a tremendous amount. See, what I like right here, guys, with this tool, with this linked properties, if I see somebody owns like 100 properties, I'm like, forget it. Forget it. I do. I'll peel off one. I'll throw out a super low ball, see if they're anywhere close, but for the most part, they're not, and then I move on. But because she's just has like basically her house in this lot, this is fantastic. I love this already. All right, so we're looking at this. Let's take a look. Interesting. So it looks like this neighborhood, for the most part, is built out. You can see some areas here that looks like there's some more vacant lots. I'm not exactly sure what's going on in Sherwood Forest over here. Probably shenanigans. But this looks like it has a house on it, though. Let me take a look at this street view. No, it looks like a shed. Interesting. So she's using this for storage, essentially. That's not a house back there, right? I can't tell what that is. Let's take a look real quick. If we could get a little bit more details. It looks like a shed. Okay, so somebody's using this for storage. So she's using this for storage. Let's take a look. This is what I love. This is how simple this is with this tool, because you can go neighbors, right? I want to know what the neighbors are. Sale amount. Sale date. There we go. And look for the highest. Okay, look at this. So we got a 229 in here. That's this year. Fantastic. Anything bigger? Got a 290 duplex. What is this thing zoned, by the way? I assume it's residential. Okay, great. All right, so we've got 229. Let's take a look at this bad boy. Oh, look at this. Come on. Built in 2005. This is fantastic. This is, come on. You guys are making it too easy. Who put this out there? What's his name? Listen, Chris, look at this. Okay, so look, this is built in 2005. It's not a brand new house, but it's gonna play real well with us. So I would take a look at this. I've got it at 229 for a nice 1,200 square foot. Look at this, exact same lot size, built in 2000. Oh, what is this? Oh, do we have a new build? What do we have over here? Oh, you guys are just making this too easy. We got a 2020 build. Now this one's at 190. Very interesting. Look at this. So you've got this thing, and it is a very, very, very interesting property here that somebody decided to build in 2020. And they built it with their bare hands. And yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I would go with the other one. I would go, this is 1,100. It's on that same, so you know that you get 190. But I would say you build an extra 150 square feet, and you get into the zone of this guy here, the 229. So that's a 229. So what's 20% of that, guys? That is 42,000, 43,000, somewhere there. So I would hit her at 20. I would throw out 20,000.
45.8.
Yeah, 45.8 is probably the wholesale price. This is interesting right here, though, right? This piece of land here that went for 20. Let's take a look at this. Now, remember, you don't know if this was a sign. This is perfect. It went to Chibble Holdings, $20,000 they bought it for. But remember, when you assign a deal, it is, they don't show the assignment on the recordings. It's just an extra fee, right? So they probably locked it up for 20,000 and sold it for more to this holdings company that is going to do something with it. So I think we're right on. I think 20 is the price. So I would throw that out and see where she's at and just see what her expectations are for that property, because she does have storage there. So is it worth getting rid of the storage for 20,000, or is it the neighbor that was like, hey, Betty, are you going to be building anything on this lot? Well, not in a while, honey. Okay, do you mind if I put a shed on there and store, my build a she shed or a man cave or something, and I'll pay you $50 a month? Yeah, sure. I mean, you don't know. Get the scoop. You never know. But that's what's going on in the fantasy in my head. Is the neighbors renting it from Betty for storage or for entertainment. There you go. When a realtor, Mr. Medina, when a realtor gives you a lead and you get the deal, what kind of compensation should you give the agent? Well, a couple different things. That's fantastic. So it just depends on if they have a listing agreement with the seller. So when they're giving you a lead, that means that they're giving you a lead to a property that they know they just want a cash offer on. So typically the seller and the agent have a relationship. So they're already getting paid by the seller. Okay. Now, if they're not, if they're just like, you know what, I want to give it to you, you give me a slice of it. Jamil gives up to 50%. Jamil Damji gives up to 50% of what he makes on it to, 20%. So it just depends on that relationship that you have. If you want them to bring you more, pay them more. 50-50 it with them if they're not getting paid by the seller, but I would just see if they're getting paid by the seller. But I'm telling you, you give a real estate agent out of the blue 50%, let's say it's $10,000, brother, Mr. Medina, you have a friend for life. You have a comrade for life. You've got somebody that's going to bring you every single ugly property that they have. So look at the lifetime value of that relationship. And don't look at I don't want to give up 50% for them just passing me over some information on somebody. It is worth it. It is worth it every time. So you can play around with it. You can play around with the percentages. If you think you're going to go absolutely bananas with it, maybe you give 20%, 30%, just depends. Get in there and just make sure that the agreement that you have up front, the agreement that you have is up front, and it's not like, oh yeah, I'll give you some, whenever. So, and I would highly suggest that you have it paid through escrow, so that you're not just writing them a check afterwards. I would have it go through escrow and have the escrow company handle it. Awesome. Great show. This is flying, man. Yeah, that's right. My market is hotter than your mom. That's true. I mean, not my mom. I mean, my mom is beautiful, but my mom as in, whoever. I think of my mom, your mom's this. Your mom is a fictional mom. Nobody knows what she looks like, but she's big. She's a big old ugly bucktooth fantasy woman. Sadara, how do you find a good title company? Number one, just go to the real estate investing groups on Facebook and just post to the group and just say, hey, who is the best escrow officer and title company for wholesale deals or for real estate investors, and see who posts to that. So just get into the network on Facebook groups or whatever. So stupid. I know. Your mom. Tony Zamora. I have a real estate license. Broker won't allow wholesale deals and fees with agents. Leave license behind and just wholesale. Tony, I would investigate and look at different brokerages that do allow it, because it was the same for me, brother. I was with a very wonderfully reputable brokerage here in Phoenix, and they were high end, right? They were in Arcadia, which is a very nice area here in Phoenix, and did a lot in Scottsdale, did a lot in Paradise Valley, did a lot in Arcadia, and they were higher end. They wanted a very clean image, and they were fine with it because they loved me and I loved them, and we've had a long relationship. But they were like, you have to do the 9-page purchase contract. You got to get all these disclosures filled out. You got to get all the property disclosures filled out, an addendum signed by everybody, knowing what everybody's making on the whole deal. It turned in, which wasn't a problem. It wasn't so much that I was afraid of the seller knowing what we were making or the buyer knowing what we were making. It was more just a lot of paperwork that was just a lot to explain, especially, and it was very overwhelming if for some reason we had to do a virtual or an email signature. It was just a lot. So I found a real estate brokerage, Stunning Homes. Steve Trang owns it, and they're phenomenal. So it's really good. So a couple different things. One, I would try to find a brokerage that does that, and there should be one. Just kind of reach out, network, Tony. I think you'll be able to find a brokerage that does that. But I don't use my license for anything but referral fees, which is fantastic, and access to the MLS. So there you go. Test Furniture locked up 2 deals last week and have 1 commitment for this week and 1 appointment on Friday, all virtual and TTP. I love it, Test Furniture. That is awesome. I mean, I don't know if that's what Test Furniture is. Maybe that's a different industry or something. But if you are doing that kind of production, it's going to be like real estate investor test soon. There you go. I don't know, but I hope that you're replacing your income and can do this full time. That's the point, right? First, we find discounted properties, and then we start replacing our income, and then we start paying off our debts, all consumer debts. Then we start buying rental properties, and then our passive income becomes more than our expenses, and that's when we are financially free. That's the path. That is the path. So fantastic. Congratulations. I salute you. Awesome work. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Virtual and TTP. virtual and TTP. I love it. For those who have completed deals, what time do you find was the best to call? Kevy Kev, when you can be consistent is the answer. Okay, when you can be consistent is the answer. All right, so make sure now if you have opportunity to be flexible and you can pick and choose, I highly suggest you pick the morning. Not because more people answer. The needle doesn't move if you call people at 9:30 a.m. or 5:30 p.m. or 4:30 p.m. On picking up. The statistics show there's like a 2 to 3% difference. So it's whenever you can be consistent. If you can do it in the morning, I would, so that you get it out of the way and it's done, right? Eat that frog. Eat that frog. If you're not familiar with that reference, basically, if you had to eat a frog every single day, it's best to eat it in the morning and get it done with and not think about it over and over and over and beat yourself up about it. Just eat that slippery old delicious frog first thing in the morning. And that's what the prospecting, get the prospecting done. Not to say it's a frog. It's wonderful once you get into the rhythm, but it is something that is a challenge. And so I would say get in there and get it done in the morning. Jack, for sure. We got to work on your mama jokes. Yeah, that is for certain. I heard one that was hilarious, but whatever. I'll save it. I'll butcher it. I'll butcher it. It's something about like your mama's so fat that even like Sunday service couldn't lift her up. Something like that. You know what I mean? Like Mondi. Okay. How do you wholesale a property with a tenant who does not want to move out? You give them an eviction notice, Mondi. First of all, that's all the way to the other side. But first, you got to go and talk to them and just let them know the property owner of this property is selling. Now, if they have a long-term lease, you got to keep them in. Landlord-Tenant Act says that they're in there. They have the rights to that property during that lease. Now, if they're on a month-to-month, you got to see in your state how much notice do you have to give before you can start the eviction process. Some states, it's like 90 days or 180 days. I mean, Oregon, I think, is crazy. I think some of those northwestern states, Washington as well, is just bananas on how long people can stay in there before they have to move out. But typically, you have a really good conversation with them. You tell them that the landlord, their landlord is selling the property, and they need to make other plans because they're not going to own it anymore, and the new owners want to make renovations, want to do something else with the property. So that's the conversation you have, and just help them. Well, how can I help? How can I help you move on? And typically what they need is, some funds. So you kind of get them cash for keys. Listen, if I can cover all your moving expenses, can we get out by July 30th or whatever, 30 days, 20 days, 15 days, 2 weeks, whatever it is. Yes, that works. Okay, great. And then just have them commit to that. And as long as you have that open communication with them, they usually work really well with you. Most people are not just jerks. Most people are not like, I'm staying here even though I don't have a long-term lease. They understand. Most people are very, very, very reasonable. If they're not, then that's when your real estate attorney gets involved and starts the eviction process. So, Monty, 90% of the time you can do it by just talking to them. Just communicate with them, respect them, have empathy for the situation that they're going through so that they can move on and move on with their lives. All right? Awesome. 6% for closing costs, but with closing costs and commissions, doesn't it go upward to 8%? Chris, it depends. I love it. I can tell that you have experience. I can tell that you're probably a real estate agent. That's exactly what was going through my mind. But I kept looking at the deals that we were doing, and obviously most looking at what our cash buyers were putting it at and what they were the costs involved. Most of the time they had their own real estate license, so they saved 3% or about 8% on the commission for the buy side. Now in a lot of areas on the listing side, they say that on the buyer side now, a lot of areas are putting out 2% to bring in a buyer for that property, a traditional buyer for that property, so they're saving some there. Or they get a sweetheart deal with their real estate agent where they charge them 4% total instead of 6 because they do it for 1% because they're giving them a ton of listings because they're flipping a lot of properties. So for the most part, it's either a mom and pop that already has their license or it's somebody that has a special relationship with an agent and not paying the full commission on it. But I get where you get with 8%, 6% works. Just telling you. If you want to adjust it a little bit, you certainly can, especially if it's lower priced, because to get agents to work, you got to give them more commission if it's a lower price deal. What? What do you got? What? Is it good? What do you do when the we're getting to it. Yeah. What do you do when the tenant burned down the house? Well, Rob? Yeah. That's, first is hopefully you don't own it. If the property owner, this happened to you. This happened to an auction property, right?
Oh, no.
Twice. This happened to these guys buying auction properties. The property was absolutely burnt down. So here's the deal. One, you got to get insurance involved. If it's the property owner and the tenant just burnt down the property, which is kind of worst case scenario, they got to go through insurance. It's going to take a lot longer, Rob. It's going to take a lot longer. It's going to take 6 months. Man, that's a heck of a tenant. Yeah, I would, insurance has to get involved. It's going to take a lot longer. Elijah Rubin does a really good job of talking about fire damaged properties. So check out his Instagram and or YouTube. I think he's got some training on it as well, and he puts it out there. But for the most part, the insurance companies need to get involved. They'll cover the cost of the building. The owner will get the money for that, and then you're basically buying it for land value. I assume by your verbiage there that it literally like burnt down. Not like, oh, there's a kitchen fire and it needs some repairs, like it's burnt down.
That's why 80% of your deals are tired landlords.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's why tired landlords, like the guys that are like, hey, I own 100 doors, I own 2,000 doors. I'm like, oh my gosh, is that why you went bald? You know what I mean? Is that why you're like all twitchy all the time? Because it's just a lot of drama. But, you know, there's a lot of benefit to it. But Rob, yeah, insurance, timing, and then land value. Awesome. One last what? Oh, one more. Hey, listen, guys, here you go. We're going to give Aaron C. $3,500 closed on his third deal last Friday. Aaron. Oh, yeah. Fantastic, brother. I want to see 5 figures minimum. All right, start making that minimum standard where you make 10,000 plus every single deal. You start putting that in your brain, you're going to start finding those deals for sure. That's why in the coaching program that I have, we pound, finding massive deals of 50K plus in the program. Again, if you're interested, it's $1,000 off this week until Monday. Go to ttpcall.com, sign up for that. The team is incredible. And it'll be your best call of your year for sure in this business. So ttpcall.com, it's $1,000. Check that off. That is the one-on-one mentorship with me and in joining the most proactive group in real estate investing. So with that, I'm going to bring the team up. As they're coming up, I want to let you guys know that put the other one up, put the TTP call up real quick. I want to let you guys know at the end of this, right when we say goodbye here, there's going to be a Steve Harvey video that is an incredible inspirational speech. Yeah, you guys can hear it. There's a lot of applause in my ear right now. But there is an incredible Steve Harvey video that I want you to watch. It's 5 minutes. It's definitely worth it. We want to thank Mike and Alejandra. Get over here. There you go. Alejandra, Matt, Jesse, Daniel, we all love you. We all want you to succeed. Remember, it all comes down to talking to people. You got this. Go have quality conversations with distressed property owners. If you're interested in joining the most proactive group in real estate investing, it's ttpcall.com. And with that, I will sign off until next week. Check out this incredible video by Steve Harvey. He crushed this one. He really did. See you guys.
Let me teach you something. How many of you have a dog? How many of you have ever had a dog that had a flea on him? That's everybody. You ever seen a flea? One of the smallest insects. Really small. One of the smallest insects. But for his height and size, and flea has the highest vertical leap in nature for an insect. A flea can jump, has a 36-inch vertical. A flea, man, can come 36 inches off the ground. His vertical is 36. The average person can't do that. But a flea can jump 36 inches off the ground. If you capture the flea and you put him in a mayonnaise jar and you put the lid on it, the flea know one thing. I got a 36-inch vertical. So here he go. He start jumping, but he gonna hit himself on that lid because he got that lid on it. But after a while, after getting knocked down so many times, the flea makes an adjustment. So now the flea only jumps just to where he don't get knocked back down. He got 36 vertical, but since this lid is on, his environment got him now jumping nowhere near what he can. Capture some more fleas and put them in there. They got 36 verticals, but then they start jumping. They find out they keep getting knocked down. They start doing what the other fleas is doing. Next thing you know, I got a jar full of fleas and they ain't even using a 36-inch vertical because they got a lid on the jar. Them fleas have babies. Them babies is born into the conditions of the environment. So now guess what? The flea is born with a 36-inch vertical, but because he see his mama and daddy and all his cousins and friends jumping just barely to the roof, you know what he do? He duplicates that behavior. The flea never reaches his potential. Until you take the top off of your mayonnaise jar, you're gonna duplicate your surroundings. If you take an oak tree seed and you put it in a 2-foot pot, that seed will never become the oak tree that oak trees are capable of becoming because it's gonna get stifled by the 2-foot pot. Now check this out, ain't nothing wrong with the seed. The seed just fell prey to the environment. You are a seed from God. God made you in his likeness. He big, he vast. Don't you allow your environment to dictate the oak tree that you become. Because ain't nothing wrong with your seed. All of y'all got this wonderful gift that he gave you at birth. All y'all got one, you better believe that now. Don't die with this gift and don't never use it. All of y'all got this wonderful gift, but you gotta use it. Take your seed, take your gift. Get away from these people that's in your life that ain't doing nothing. Get away from people in your life that's hating. Get away from your family members that ain't ever opened a business. Get away from your family members that ain't ever followed their dream. Get away from your family members ain't never been nowhere but to the family reunion. Ain't never been to a beach. Get away from them. Get away from them. I had to do it. When I told everybody I was getting into comedy, man, oh, Lord have mercy. You can't get into comedy. You ain't even funny. How you gonna make money telling jokes? Now, in the beginning, it looked like they was right, but I never gave up. All I did was identify this gift. I worked. I wrote all of my visions down. I read them every morning and every night. And I instilled them in my head. And every time I met somebody, they say, hey, man, what you trying to do? I would tell them one of my visions. Somebody would always say to me, you know, I know a guy that's selling them things right there. You ought to talk to him. I started scratching stuff off my vision board. My vision board is so vast now. If I showed you what was on it, you wouldn't even believe it. Because I dream so big, I want so big, because the God I serve is big. He's not a small God. He's a really, really big God. He does really, really big stuff, and I expect him to do really, really big stuff for me. If he'd have done it for Oprah, if he'd have done it for the Obamas, whoever got, why I can't have this here? I'm gonna do better with it than all of them, to me, but why you can't have that? That's how you get what you want in life now. You don't have to believe me, but here's the deal. If you keep doing what you've been doing, you're gonna keep getting what you've been getting. If I just told you a different way to go about it, you don't need no money. I just gave you some scriptures you could try and some principles. If somebody who had come from the bottom and got to this position I'm in told me that this is the way I would try it, if I was you, I would try that. I bet you it'll work, though. Appreciate y'all.